Hey guys, welcome to After Credit Movie Chat's very first video review where we review Mission Impossible Rogue Nation, the fifth installment in the Mission Impossible franchise. I do want to warn everybody, this will be probably a spoiler-heavy review, so if you've not seen the movie, I would suggest coming back and watching this later. And then joining me today on my left is Cam, Robert, myself, Dean, Nick, and Doug. Alright guys, what did you think of the movie overall?
It was alright. I liked it. Entertaining. Not a great movie, I thought.
Scale 1 to 8.
I don't know that scale.
Okay, I guess,
It was alright,
what
it was
Mission Impossible movies have you guys seen besides this?
I've seen the fifth one.
I've also, this is my first Mission Impossible movie, and I think, meh.
Meh. I saw 4 and this one.
What would you compare this to for? Who did you like better?
I think I like 4 better.
Okay.
I've seen the first two, and I've had some exposure to Tom Cruise's Mission Impossible acting, and in comparison, I'd say it fares close to the originals. If I were to pick which one I like better, probably the original, just because I wasn't desensitized to it, like, oh, I know what's gonna happen, you know. So they kept it traditional with a little more twist, and I'm glad they did.
Thank you for that.
A thoughtful response.
I mean, I watched 1 through 4 the past 3 days thinking that I would need to see them, which you don't need to see the other ones, and maybe you know the characters.
They're not
a little bit.
connected at all.
Which I know Robert had brought up that he thought they jumped into it right away, and I think if you'd seen the other movies, you know the characters, so they just felt, we'll just go for it. And that's exactly because the very first opening scene of this, they are just going at
Yeah,
it.
they're going right for it. Yeah.
There's a big plane.
Which I'm sure you guys seen the trailer. Tom
Yeah,
Cruise
that's
jumps on the
stunt.
plane and he actually performed the stunt.
I wasn't expecting that to be the very first scene.
I wasn't either. And
With the music in the beginning, you could tell something actiony was going to be going down.
which is the other thing to me that I really liked about the movie is that it kept topping itself. Because the first airplane scene's like, wow, that's great. And then all of a sudden we have the underwater scene, like, that's even better. Then the motorcycle car chase, wow, that's even better. And then the motorcycle chase, wow, this is even better. It like kept topping it.
I personally really like the opera scene because I thought the music in the background of just the play going on
That was
really
pretty
made
good.
it. Yeah.
That was pretty funny.
And then with that scene, the gadgets they used throughout the movie, the trumpet,
It was a
flute,
clarinet.
clarinet, sniper type thing, that was awesome. Although I thought all the henchmen who worked for the guy were all the buffest people I've ever seen. Lane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All very strong
They're all very.
jawlines.
Remind me of myself.
Know how that
Okay.
dude snuck in there as a band member. He was like 6'4".
Oh, he was bigger than that. Well, I guess Tom Cruise isn't the tallest, but
He is short
was
little
towering over Tom.
Yeah. 5'6". No.
You can
He's
look up the gear
5'7",
on
I
him.
believe.
I think he is 5'7".
If Family Guy is correct.
But he continues to do all of his own stunts, which is just crazy. And the other thing I liked about
What's your source on that?
Tom Cruise himself, and just everybody in general. Come on, Cam.
I've seen multiple interviews, Cam.
Yes, exactly.
He's got a plain shirt on. It's like
So do you!
comfortable.
Polo.
Oh well.
Don't think we're
Sponsored.
sponsored.
Not sponsored.
And then the other thing that, well, with Tom Cruise too, is that I actually bought him as a character for once. Like normally you just go, well, this is Tom Cruise. Like I don't know. I think because I watched the 4 Mission Impossible movies, I think I like this movie more because like I knew what to expect. I knew the whole world they live in.
They made no hunting puns on his last
Well,
name,
I don't think
though.
they're gonna make puns.
I don't know.
Which is what I like. The script was I thought it was very smart. The humor, the same Mission Impossible humor, that's always there. I really like that.
A lot of the...
She can
some-
ride. Let me tell you.
And then the camera,
She can ride.
most jokes can hold, there's a
What?
lot of pausing of the camera. Just
Yeah, there's a lot of
it's
cuts
like,
where you think they're gonna say something. It's like,
And
no
his neck-
difference in.
Or they make a comment that you wouldn't expect. It wasn't like your typical, like they explain everything. They just be like, yeah, okay,
I
that's it.
also really liked how each time they made a non-main villain not Lang, they made it seem like Alex Baldwin or the British guy,
Yeah, they really try to throw you out.
or even Jeremy Renner. They're all going to be a sort of a bad guy. They're going to betray somebody, but they just kind of it's like, no, they're just actually trying to do their jobs. They're not trying to, oh, we're just the new bad guy. We want to kill people.
And I also, well, I like Jeremy Renner overall as an actor, but the way even like Avengers, you start to see he's actually got like they let him do his humor, and his humor's not like over the top or anything, but I find it funnier than most of the characters for whatever reason. Maybe because I don't see him as a comedy guy. He's always the action kind of guy.
Yeah, it really covers up that giant nose of his.
Didn't notice his nose.
Exactly.
I thought his fingers were kind of weird. I feel like he doesn't have like a knuckle.
You
right
also
here.
think
Isn't it?
the female actress from Ant-Man had fat fingers.
I don't
True.
know.
Noticing those hands.
If we're talking about weird fingers.
Megan Fox.
Yeah.
Well, that's just the
Those
thumbs.
thumbs.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, but the toes.
I haven't seen her toes. I'm sorry.
No.
no, they
No,
are
her toes are her thumbs.
Oh.
That's the
She
point.
cut them off. Replaced them.
Back on topic. Will say wasn't a big fan. There's some disagreements among the cast here. The main villain, he didn't show up enough, and it was always the constant saying he's really smart, but he kind of was, when he was on screen, it's like, well, you're just kind of a soft-spoken guy wearing a turtleneck who's implying that he did
Yeah,
cool
I liked
things.
him
He
'cause
never
they-
did cool
They
things.
played him as behind the shadows, and I will say his henchmen weren't always the greatest, so they didn't play him up. But
Mr. Bonesaw,
Yeah.
you're lame.
Oh, Bonesaw
Doctor,
was.
like Dr. Bone, something.
Yeah.
Like
Dr. Bone.
the way the
That
the
was it.
plot developed and the way the writing, I thought that played the villain to be very smart. And he reminded me of a Bond villain. The turtleneck, the glasses. He was smart, kind of had like a weird talking thing to him.
Yeah, that's how art
And he had his,
progresses.
he at least had his motivations. It wasn't just like, oh, I'm doing this to kill people.
And his
He had
motivations were sort of weak, and they were just throwing.
Well, they didn't
people off.
dive down and do it. They just told us what his things. They didn't like
In a
go
sense,
into
he is
story.
not as strong as most of Marvel's villains, so.
I go a little bit stronger because Marvels are normally just one-offs, or they're just
He's
complete.
pretty one-dimensional. He didn't really. He wasn't.
That's true.
That's what I wanted more from the movie. I wanted more depth. They kind of just like went right over the surface
Yeah.
of it.
Well,
Like
these
the
are
tip of the
action
iceberg.
movies. Yeah,
it wasn't
so
actually
they went for the
character
action.
development wasn't huge.
Yeah.
I think that's the thing because I'd watched the previous 4 over the past couple of days that I just know these characters so much at this point that I didn't need that. So it was fine for me.
What happened to that 50 million he transferred?
No,
what
he just
was
throwing
the
that
point
out.
of that?
Yeah,
Just, here's $50 million.
Well, he was- that's
He
how
took
he-
it, they give it like thanks.
That's how he could-
continue with what we were gonna do.
Well, that's how he proved that he had memorized a thing. So
Oh,
he
okay, I
needed
didn't think of
him.
that.
He
I
couldn't
didn't
just
think
kill
of
him.
that.
How about $1?
Yeah.
Well, he had to prove he was.
Is there gonna be a
He had to prove he was
transfer
serious.
on that?
Yeah, he had to prove he was
$5
serious.
to let him
No,
go.
I did think one of the things is the villain guy, Lane, easily could have just gone, oh, thanks, and then just killed Benji
So
anyway.
50 million,
And
I'm
like,
out
oh, I've
here.
already got 50
You
million.
need to make some smart investments in the stock market on that and build yourself a multi-billion-dollar company.
Dude's already like 70. I don't think he needs to invest anything.
It's true.
But then also what I really liked was, I believe her name is Rebecca Ferguson, the actress in this movie, who I believe had only been in like Hercules with The Rock. That was like her only major role. But I think she's going to be in a lot of movies going forward with her
This is the
performance.
first time I've seen her.
I
Yeah.
thought her eyes were kind of far apart, but other than that,
just let me out of it.
I thought she was pretty good.
Well, and I bought the action. Like I didn't think like, oh, that's only a stunt double. Like I believe she was doing a lot of that.
I also like her as her character because she wanted to help Ethan Hunt, Tom Cruise, but also was still trying to work for her own government.
Shut your mouth.
And still trying, but at first it made it seem like she was trying to double cross Ethan and working for Lang, but then he ended up being just for the British.
Yeah, that was really confusing. I kind of like that though.
Right? Yeah. Like how they kept.
She was the
making
character
you
that
second
probably
guess
had the
what you were
most depth
thinking.
in the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and she was the newest character, and they really wanted to focus in on her.
Okay.
Some moments that stuck out to you overall, good or bad.
A big one was Tom Cruise pulling off that amazing stunt, going from being chained, cannot
Oh.
reach that
Keyhole?
keyhole. So what's he do? He uses his upper body, which
This is impressive.
I myself can
I'd say
relate to,
but you already was lower body.
and
And
he
he
also
has a
uses that
core.
core, and he swings all the way up.
Core.
Then he uses his shoulder muscles, deltoids and all.
We all saw the scene.
Yes.
I'd say it was more lower core. Sorry,
Liquor. Have you been drinking tonight, sir?
just a lot.
Yeah, that's just a little rap I gave out for the fans.
Oh God.
What?
Anyways, I thought it was neat that he did his own stunt, but Tom is getting old, so can he prove himself?
But and then the other thing that, because Tom Cruise already said they've already developed Mission Impossible 6. They're probably going to film next summer, and they're just going to keep throwing these things out here while he can still do his own stunts, which is probably going to be till he's 70 and he won't quit. You know.
Favorite
Kill
part of
himself.
this movie is now they can start officially advertising for Star Wars Rogue One. because now they weren't
They
going to
are gonna
advertise
try to
until
let
the
them.
Rogue Nation because they want the audience getting confused. So the best part about this movie coming out.
All right. Well, you guys clearly weren't the biggest fans of it overall compared to me. So what would you guys give it out of 10? What would your score be?
Starting with me,
Sure. Start with
6.
6 as well.
I'm going with an 8.
6.1.
Whoa.
Oh, specific.
Actually, we're gonna have to go as low as probably a 5.5. I got kind of bored during some of the movies. I thought the villain was pretty weak. Cool action scenes, but I don't know. A lot of the characters kind of had
Actually,
some.
wasn't enough to hold me in.
The black guy, I'm not sure who he is. Maybe you need to see the other
think his
Mission
name
Impossible.
That's why I think you guys, if you see the other Mission Impossible,
Because the other-
you get more and you'd be
I feel like it was
you
all
wouldn't-
kind of rushed.
The side
you wouldn't
characters.
need as much.
The side characters had zero development of their character. They're kind of
No
just there for little
backstory.
one-liners and yeah.
Well, each
But maybe
Mission
I need to
Impossible
see it,
is
but-
completely separate from itself. So, like the characters in here, you probably won't ever see again for the most part. So, I think if you'd seen the other ones, you know, like I kind of knew what to expect. So you knew these guys weren't going to last necessarily. And then, like you said, Luther, he's been in all of them. So the black guy is Luther.
Oh,
so
no.
Whoa,
I was like, who's Luther?
He's in all
Cut that
of
part
them.
out.
Obama's
Yeah.
translator, anger translator.
Jeremy Renner will be around for a long time. I think Simon Pegg will be as well. So I'm sure I'm sure Rebecca Ferguson, she may be back. I don't know. Depends where her career goes, I
Yeah.
guess. But
I
they
still
left that open. For
I
if she
still
could come back.
definitely, if I wouldn't necessarily recommend the movie to see in theaters, but it's at least worth the rent in my mind, just to watch. Especially, I guess if
It's a
you've seen
fun
the other-
action movie. That's
Yeah.
not-
Dean, explain to these guys why Tom Cruise didn't kiss Rebecca Ferguson at the end.
They didn't want to go for the cliche thing, and
Honestly,
I think-
it's started becoming more cliche where they don't end up
that's true.
being
But-
a couple.
And also, Mission Impossible, they've always thrown in the love interest. And this is kind of a spoiler for number 3 guy, but he was married at one point.
Yep.
What?
Exactly.
And then number
God,
Are
4.
we talking real life Tom Cruise?
No. He was married to Michelle like Monaghan or whatever, like, who I brought up earlier. But she, so they're married, and then number 4 they just dismiss it, like, oh yeah, you guys got divorced or whatever, and then it finds out that she was maybe killed or
the
something.
scene was really
But
rushed.
they just rebooted her out of it, so they continue to do that. So I don't think love interests they're not a big part of this franchise.
But the rush of words like, or option 3, you can just run away with me now. It's like, well, you guys have worked on like a
I
couple
felt like
things
that
together.
really came way too
Yeah,
fast.
and then they kind of just like.
But she was looking to get out. She had been doing some things
So
she wasn't
really,
proud of.
she got friend zoned by him because it was kind of like a hug. It's like, I could run away with you right now.
Well, I think the thing is when you,
Right.
because I said to these guys after the movie, like Mission Impossible has become a hybrid between James Bond and Jason Bourne, and Jason Bourne's always had the one love interest. James Bond has a new one every single time.
Plus
So this
Jeremy
one just
Renner, who's played in a James
this
Bond,
one
or
seems to have
Jason
just
Bourne movie.
decided to go
It's
the
like,
opposite way and not really deal with the love interest as much. I think that's just what their route was.
They should have just kept it all together off the table instead of just kind of like, hey, nah, I'm just kidding.
Well, I think you have to do that for a movie. Just people expect that sort of a thing.
Dean,
They didn't have to do it. Cam?
there was only one girl in that whole movie, other than background people.
You're kind of right. Yeah, I don't. There was
That's
one
not
main.
really typical
Wow.
of a lot of action movies.
Whoa. Sexist.
But there was only so many
Rated
characters.
5.
At least
Wait,
she's
wait,
a
what?
strong female character who
Right,
wasn't
she wasn't
there-
prototypical.
who wasn't just there to be
damsel
either
distress type deal.
that or the one who's super
Sexy,
sweet,
yeah.
but still like, oh, I
She
just
wasn't
want to.
sexy.
She was definitely sex appeal in that movie.
I'm just saying Simon Pegg should have taken his shirt off for some comic relief because
Well,
they're going off these jokes.
And that's the other thing. Simon Pegg has a much larger role in this one. Number 4, he had
He's
a
much
pretty big
larger
role.
than the other actors.
But like,
Luther.
but number 3,
Little
he had a
subtle
very,
insult
very
to him
small
there,
role, and that was just because J.J. Abrams brought him along because he worked with him on Star Trek, so they're friends. That's why he's on Star Wars Episode 7 now.
J.J. Abrams directed this movie.
He directed
Yeah.
number
Use
3.
your phone,
That's
get
when he
an
brought
average of our
Simon
scores.
Pegg is, and then and now it touches him get a bigger and bigger role because he's clearly one of the funnier characters on this, and he adds a lot. He's kind of the human, the audience element. He's not the big action guy, so he's kind of a cool element to the story.
What are you doing?
I'm just thinking we should get
You're
an
doing
average
that so
score.
bad,
We need to
man.
average it up.
Well, I think if we just go around the table on our score, and then hopefully you guys
Are
can
you
leave your
sticking with the
comments
5 for
below what you
action
thought
being
of the movie.
sexist, or are you going to keep yours as a 6?
Yeah.
So 6, 6, 8, 6.1.
Just to be different, but for the most part, yeah.